standard greeting, YouTube viewer, and warm welcome to another episode of the show. Today on Do the Thing, we're going to be doing the thing with Legacy Commander Class Motormaster. Quick note before we get started, I am just going to show how to turn the cab into the robot and the trailer into the base mode in this video. If you are looking for the Menasor conversion, that will be released the day after this one comes out, or it'll just be a different video on my channel depending on when you watch this. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and do the thing. And the first thing we're going to do is just detach the trailer, and we're just going to put it off to the side here, so we can focus on the robot, get transformed, and then put him off to the side and do the trailer. So to begin transforming Motormaster, what we're going to do is we're going to actually pop these panels up and pull them away. And what's happening here is you have these little tabs here that are kind of just resting in this area, and then you've got this circular peg that are going to go into this pinhole. And if you watched my review on him, I told you that this pinhole has to be facing a certain way in order for the transformation to work, and that is why, because it is a pinhole and a peg hole. We'll go ahead and fold these flaps down on both sides, and then we're going to go ahead and move these top panels into their orientation. The way I do that is I just put my fingertip here and push back, and then pull from under to expose the tab and get this thing loose on its armature. And you've got your slot there, tab, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Do it on the other side. There you go. Alright, now that we've got that done, I'm just going to finish folding those forward for now, and we're going to dislocate this panel here on either side. And what's going on there is you have this tab here, one on each side, and it's going into this slot here, one of these two. Let's see which one it is, just to be sure. No, I'm wrong. It's this slot here. There's so many slots here. I apologize. This slot here is this tab is locating into, one on each side. We'll go ahead and straighten out his knees, and then straighten out his hips, and let's go ahead and finish his legs off, shall we? Fold his tires in flat, pull those legs apart, and we'll focus on one at a time. Fold this up, this whole section, it doesn't tab or anything. Rotate her around 180 degrees, fold it back down to form the little fake hood of the truck. Fold this flap in. You've got this tab that I was confused to where it was slotting in, and it's going to go into this slot right here. This time I know where it goes. And then this is going to fold in and sort of clip into place through friction. And we can do, and then this is finally going to be able to tab in. You've got a slot and a peg, and that is all held together. Same thing on this side. Pull it down, spin it around, flip it up, fold in your panels, and then snap that in place. And you've got two legs of Motormaster ready to go. Now this part right here, let me raise up real quick, a little too far, is pretty easy. We're going to dislocate this section with the port for the trailer from his arms. You've got tab here, slot there, each side. Just fold this down for now. Go ahead and rotate his arms out. And rotate those arms out of your way. And we're going to take this whole section and bring it up. Flip this up and fold it down around the back. And then on the back, you've got this little slot here. That's going to go and marry up with this tab here. And his feet blurred that out. Let's go ahead and do that a second time. Lock that in place. There's his backpack. Then we can fold his arms down, clip them in. We've got a tab, hooky tab thing here, and a slot. And those are the two things I was confused about on the side of the truck. So there, we figured out what goes in them. Look at us learn. And then we'll go ahead and open this panel and fold his fists out. And there, if this fist will cooperate, Now you have a Motormaster in his Robot Master mode. And so we'll go ahead and give him a spin on my state-of-the-art turntable. Look at that. Now normally we would do the thing again in reverse, but we're actually just going to swap him out for his trailer and transform it. The first thing you want to do for the trailer is just pull the front and the back apart. Set that off to the side for now. And we're going to remove the sword, set it off to the side, and we're going to focus on these parts here. We'll take these two and fold them up. They are just clipped in. You've got these two tabs making a big tab that go into this slot here. Just fold them up. They will kind of rest on these two tabs with these two slots. And then we're going to go ahead and just separate them from each other. They aren't plugged into each other, but again, you have two tabs that go into a bigger slot that hold them in, and then from there you just unfurl it and remove it from this chunk. And what you're going to do after that is you're just going to fold in half down here at the very middle and just start pegging the halves together. You've got pegs all the way down it, so just start lining all those pegs up till it looks like this. And then we can set that chunk off to the side. Coming back to this chunk, we're going to go ahead and rotate these hip joints for the combined mode down 90 degrees so that they're looking like this. Go ahead and spin this part around, which is the robot torso, so that way it looks almost like it's supposed to in the final combination. And then we're just going to fold this purple flap 90 degrees so that it's like that, and set that down. Now we'll go ahead and take this huge chunk and we'll break it in half again. So we've got two different chunks, and we're going to take that chunk, set it off to the side, and break this chunk in half yet again. Ooh, that took some doing. And there you go, you've got more chunks. Chunk goodness. And what you're going to do is you're going to see under here you've got two holes, but they're offset. They're not in the same exact spot, even though there's molding on the front to make it look like they would be. You've got one closer to the edge and one closer to the center, and that's because what's going to happen is the hands are going to plug in back here, and depending on which one you have, you've got a peg here and a peg here. So this one, the peg is farther in. That means that it's going to be the one that is going to be marrying up here. And then this panel here with the hand sitting on it is going to slide into this slot here. So we're going to go ahead and put the peg in and make sure that slot lines up. Give it a push. And there you go. We can go ahead and take the other hand, marry up the peg in the slot, and there you have that. And then if you look down here, there's little corners cut out of this purple piece, and that's the tires just kind of resting there. So that's kind of nice that they had the forethought to plan that. And then we'll just take this and bend it here. Oh, you did not see. Let's rotate down, shall we? We're going to take this arm chunk and we're just going to bend it at this joint. Same thing on the other side. And this is now ready to have parts added to it. So we'll go ahead and just do the legs. Pull the legs apart, take the gun chunk, set it off to the side. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull this panel down, revealing his foot, and pull the panel it's attached to all the way back. And the feet have a post on one side, and you're just going to plug them into a port right here. And so you want it so that way it's kind of sitting flush with the rest of it. So that's how you know which foot to plug in where. Like that. And I never read the instructions for these, obviously. If you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know that. So this is just how I looked at the box and it looked. I don't know if they fold these flaps up, but I usually don't, because it gives it more surface area for people to hide behind. Speaking of which, we'll get into that. And before we move on, this is the start of the base mode, and like this is the skinny side forward. It makes no sense for people to hide behind that. So what I figured out I could do is you can just take this peg and plug it in, and it's going to sit at a little bit of an angle in the back, but that looks more substantial for something to hide up behind. It would be nice if this would fold forward and lock in without a car on it, but I mean, that looks more like something is going to happen than that to me. I just like the way that looks better. To each their own. We'll leave it in the official configuration style for now, though. I just dropped the sword. Then we'll go ahead and with this section, you've got a tab here and a tab here, and they are going to go into a little slot here and a little slot there. Let's go ahead and slide that forward. Can you see that just under my finger? That's what you're looking for. So we'll go ahead and we'll plug it in to the stuff, if I can do it. There we go. There we go. That looks nice. And then this torso piece spins, and it's not super stable, so you just gotta kind of line it up. As for the sword, I just hang it off one of these posts here, and then you take the gun, and in this configuration, you're just gonna fold it open, pull the handles out, and you're going to take this post here, and you're going to, or that port, and you're going to plug it into a post at the top to become a mounted weapon. I'm not going to spin this thing around, but we'll put it there so you can look at it. We'll put Motormaster next to his trailer that is turned into a base, and there you can take a look at that for a couple of seconds. Alright, we'll go ahead and move Motormaster back out of the way, and we'll go ahead and do the thing but backwards. So we're going to take the gun off, fold the handles in, go ahead and fold the gun back closed. You've got two tabs that'll go into two slots here, and you've completed the gun chunk. We'll pull off the turret, or the weapon stand chunk, and you can just set this off by itself too if you don't want it to be attached. It does that in combine mode in the official configuration, so set that off to the side, and we'll go ahead and start undoing these limb chunks and putting them back together. We'll go ahead and take the sword and hide it. So we'll go ahead and fold this panel up. You've got two slots on the foot, two tabs, marry those up, and then you've got this little nub right there, and it's going to go kind of into that slot right there to lock that into place. And then you have one half of that. Go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, and you can fold this up first, or you can fold this up first. There does appear to be a couple of tabs on the top of the foot that are plugging into these tabs here into the slots on the foot, so that locks the foot into place by itself, and then this comes in, you've got the tabs and slots and that thing, and that locks it all together nice. When you're putting the gun chunk back, you've got two similar sized gaps here for the cars of the leg assemblies, but you've got one with a little slot in it, and that's for the tab on the gun. So you're just going to line that up on one side, and then go ahead and find the one with the tab on the other side, and you've got various ports and posts all along it that you'll just push together, and there you've got a roof chunk. So now we can come over to this thing and pop the arms off, and we're just gonna go ahead and fold this back up. You've got a slot here and a tab there, and you've got a couple of interconnecting teethies on the trailer wall there. So there you've got the teeth, and they sit behind this like so, and then you've got, just like the rest of it, you've got posts and ports. So you just line the hands up here and push them back together, and then you've got a bunch of ports going along the side, and you've got a bunch of posts running along the underside of here. So you'll just line those up and smush them together to form the back half of the trailer, and then that can go off to the side. we'll take this half of the trailer, or this part of the skeleton I should say. Go ahead and fold this purple flap 90 degrees. We'll go ahead and rotate this panel 180 degrees, and then you've got to fold the legs up into it. And these little ledges here kind of go up inside of this gap to hold that in place. So you'll see that it sits right up in there, and it does it on both sides. So you've got that nice and secure. Then we can bring this section back in, and we'll go ahead and start pulling it in half. And you want to fold up at this hinge here, the first hinge besides the center ones, and it does kind of thoop into place. So we'll do that on one side. And then the way I've found is easiest to line this up is you've got this little groove here that perfectly sits around this rounded part on this gray piece. So you just got to line that up and then fold this side shut and line it up on the other side. Then combine the roof together. Again, they don't peg into each other, they peg into this black body part. And then you've got this tab here, fold these in, combine those. Then you've got a bunch of ports, and you've got some posts on here. Before you do that, you have a little post down there, ports on the sword. Hook your sword into your trailer, and then hook your trailer into your trailer, and you make a big old hefty rectangle, a heftangle. There you have the trailer done, so we'll put that off to the side. And we've got Motormaster back into the fray. Go ahead and hide his hands away, open this flap, fold it, the wrist in, and then you've got a tab on the flap that goes into a slot on the hand. Same thing, but again, and the slot does go, or the tab does find itself kind of in the slot of the mushroom peg there on the hand to hold that in place. But yeah, fold it in, you got the slot and the tab. Then we'll go ahead and we'll pull his arms up, disconnecting these two tabs right here from those two slots right there. Do it on both sides. Disconnect, bend over. There we go. Disconnect the backpack and fold it up over his head, keeping these wheels at a 90-degree angle while you do it, sort of, mostly. And then once you've gotten it to the other side, go ahead and fold those up and down onto his belly. Fold his arms forward, and you've got this little black tab that's going to go into a slot right here on both sides. And then you've got these tabs that go into those big slots in the rear of the truck section, the bed, or the hitch section, whatever you want to call it. And there you have that all done. If you want to, because he does kind of stare out at you, you could always turn his head around while you're doing this, so that way when you're looking down under there in truck mode, for whatever reason you would be, the face, no visible face syndrome under there, it's just going to be visible on this side, but it's going to be pretty much covered up by all of this stuff. So, and then what we're going to do is reverse the transformation on his legs. So let's go ahead and rotate one out of the way. We'll go ahead and rotate this panel up. I found that if you move the foot out of the way, it's easier to get to the corner of this panel and fold it out. You have to try and flex the wheel up, but if you just fold this down, which will be used in combination, you can literally just pull the wheel up and then close that back up instead of stressing yourself out. And then we want to rotate it so that way the real grill is facing forward, and fold that in. This came untabbed on its own, so we'll just rotate it up for now. And that side is ready to rehook in, so we'll go ahead, swap legs, and try that again. Go ahead and disconnect this and rotate it up. Fold this out, fold this back panel out, and then use the space to get up under there in that corner. And untab that. Fold this down, fold your wheel up, then fold that back together, spin it around, so that way the wheel is on the outside and the grill is all lined up. And then you can bring the legs together and you have a big old tab and slot corresponding on the other side, and you can go ahead and lock these together, making sure all your flaps stay open down there. And then what you're going to want to do is rotate the hips 90 degrees. Don't unplug the chest like I did. And then you're going to rotate the knees on their double hinges to get these panels in place. And you've got this tab on both sides that'll go into this slot on both sides. So just angle things around it and use those knee joints to get it positioned and tabbed in on both sides. Make sure it's all squeezed. And then we can take these, fold them out to the side. We can unhook the knee caps. You've got the big old tab, big old slot, rotate them up, and then put them back into place. I find that you got to do a little bit of flexing, kind of, because it's a tight squeeze, but you just rotate it back a little bit and snap it forward. Same thing on the other side. And then on this panel, fold this up, rotate it back, and you've got this port right here goes in, or this post goes into the port, the screw port, and you can push that into place. Do it on the other side. Fold that up, push that into place, and there you have Motormaster back to being a truck cab. We can bring this trailer in, and you've got the post and the port, and you just combine those together, and you have your little Motormaster back in his semi truck and trailer mode. And that has been doing the thing for Legacy Commander Class Motormaster. I am not good at outros, so go ahead and call to action, engage with the video, subscribe and ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.